ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So today is the very auspicious day of appearance of Lord Narasimha, who appeared specifically for Prahlad Maharaj. Bhagavad Gita, we find it is said that the Lord appears to safeguard sadhus and vinashaya cha dushkrita, and to kill the miscreants, paritranaya sadhuna. But actually, the most important reason for the Lord to appear is for the pleasure of his devotees. Prabhupada explains, the Lord is so powerful, he doesn't have to appear to slay the demons, to kill the miscreants. Just by the will of the Lord, material nature itself is so powerful that thousands of people, miscreants, can be killed. It's like we see there are so many natural disasters. In just few days, few moments, millions of people can be slain. When there are wars, thousands and thousands of people are killed. So that is not very difficult for the Lord. He doesn't have to appear to slay the demons. But actually the Lord factually appears because the devotees are very eager to see him. So the Lord appeared for Prahlad Maharaj, who was very eager to see the Lord. Also, Prabhupada explains, specifically by this pastime of Lord Narasimha, slaying the demon Hiranyakashipu, Prabhupada explains that the devotees of the Lord, they are able to see the Lord 24 hours. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti. So, devotees are able to see the Lord because of their intense love for the Lord. But demoniac people, asuric people, they do not recognize the presence of the Lord. They think, where is God? Who is God? God is dead. It's like Prabhupada, when he went to America, there was a slogan, God is dead, there is no God. Or we are all God. So the Supreme Lord, as Narasimha, appeared in order to demonstrate that there is God. But unfortunately, the demoniac people, throughout their life, they don't see God. It's only at the point of death and in a ferocious form of death, Kala, the destroyer, Only then they are able to understand the presence of the Lord. So, this is a very, very auspicious appearance of Lord Narsimha on this Narsimha Chaturdashi day. Briefly, Prabhupada very beautifully explains about this pastime. He explains that how great saintly devotee like Prahlad, because he came in contact with another great devotee of the Lord, Narad Muni, even when he was in the womb of his mother, he was able to hear instructions from great personality, great sage like Narad Muni, great devotee like Narad Muni. So, the result is that even though Prahlad is born in a demoniac, asuric family, still he was able to become one of the greatest devotees of the Lord. So, after his appearance, Prahlad Maharaj was completely absorbed in hearing about the Lord and in glorifying the Lord. So much so that when his father instructed the two teachers, Chanda and Amarka, that now my demoniac son should be trained in asuric principle, in demoniac principle, in economic development, in sense gratification, dharma, artha, kama, all these things. Prahlad Maharaj did not imbibe any of those asuric teachings. Rather, he was able to influence even other of his demoniac friends to actually become attached to the Lord. So Chanda and Amarka, they were astonished that we are trying to teach Prahlad about these demoniac principles, but Prahlad is divine. Not only he himself is divine, he is making other asuras, other of his classmates, gradually into Krishna conscious. So he became very afraid, they became very afraid. Immediately they went and they complained to Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu called and Hiranyakashipu asked, "What did you learn? What is the best teaching you have learned?" So he said, "My dear father, the best teaching I have learned is that one should give up materialistic way of life and surrender completely to Hari. One should give up the so-called Graha Andakupam and one should take shelter of Hari." So, Hiranyakashipu became very, very angry. And then he wanted somehow or other to kill his own son. So there Prabhupada explains there is so much difference between a demoniac person and a great devotee like Prahlad. We will find later on, Prahlad, even after his father was killed, was thinking about the welfare of his demoniac father. And such a demoniac person like Hiranyakashipu, for his own sense enjoyment, for his own false ego, he is ready to kill even his own son. And a great devotee like Prahlad is ready to save even his demoniac father. So this is the difference between a great devotee of the Lord and asuras, demoniac person. So Hiranyakashipu tried all kinds of different methods somehow or other to take away the life of Prahlad Maharaj. But as it is said in the Vedic scriptures, Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. Krishna had decided that Hiranyakashipu should be killed, and even the boons of Brahma could not save him. He had taken a lot of boons. He had material opulence, he had material strength, but none of those things could actually save him, because when the Lord decided, then nobody can save. In the battlefield of Mahabharata, we find this, that Arjuna wanted that somehow or other all these enemies can be spared, and he wanted somehow or other to give up his duty as a Kshatriya and go away from the battlefield. But the Lord showed him, even through his Vishwarupa, that even though Arjuna may spare them, but because the Lord had decided that they will not go back to home, they will all be perished, they will all be finished. So in the Vishwarupa, the Lord showed that Arjuna, you may give up this fighting, but because I have decided this is my plan, they will be vanquished. So similarly, we can see here that Hiranyakashipu could not be saved and Prahlad Maharaj could not be killed. Hiranyakashipu tried everything to see to it that Prahlad can be killed, but that was not possible. So finally, Hiranyakashipu became so angry, he said that, okay, not you, first I will kill that Vishnu. Where is your Lord? Who is going to protect you? So then he said, my Lord is everywhere. So then he said, okay, so is your Lord in this pillar? So Prahlad said, yes. If my Lord is everywhere, then he is definitely in the pillar. So then he said, let me see where is your Lord in this pillar. Let me smash him. And then he took his gada and left and right he started trying to beat that pillar. Immediately the Lord appeared. So in that context, Prabhupada explains, the Lord appeared to keep the words of his devotee, that yes, the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, and he can demonstrate that. The Supreme Lord immediately came out from that pillar and he kept the words of his another devotee Brahma, who had given away some kind of benedictions to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu thought that he is intelligent enough to cheat even Brahma. When Brahma told him that I cannot grant you to be immortal, because I myself, I am not immortal. One day I have to give up my body. So there is no possibility that I can grant you to be immortal. So then he thought, like this Brahma will not give me immortality, better I will take some things by which in a roundabout way I will be able to become immortal. So then he asked for varieties of different benedictions. Give me a benediction, I cannot be killed by any creatures who are created by you. Give me a benediction, not asuras, not suras, not human being or any other creature can kill me. Give me a benediction that I cannot be killed by any kind of weapon. I cannot be killed on earth. I cannot be killed in the sky. You see, I cannot be killed. I should not be able to be killed within the house or outside the house. Isn't it? So a lot of benedictions like this he took, and then he finally thought that now I have become intelligent. I have cheated Brahma and I have become immortal. But Prabhupada says the intelligence of the Lord is greater than any so-called intelligence. So the Lord kept all these different boons, benedictions which were given to Hiranyakashipu. He kept all of them intact, because these are the word given by the devotee. If the Lord wanted, he could have broken all these and killed still, but he did not do that. He kept all these words of Brahma, and in spite of that, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu. So he killed him on the, just between outside and inside the house, and he killed him on his lap, which is neither earth nor sky. And the Lord himself appeared neither as a human being nor as animal, nothing which can be created or which was ever created by Brahma. And the Lord killed him not with any weapon, but with his ferocious nails. And then the Lord was so angry at Hiranyakashipu, who had tormented a great devotee like Prahlad so much, that in anger, even after killing him, the Lord was not, he was not pacified. He took out the intestine of Hiranyakashipu and garlanded himself. That was the kind of anger, Lord Nrsimha was in. And it is explained in Bhagavatam that even after killing Hiranyakashipu, when the Lord was not pacified, then all the demigods, including even Brahma, Shiva, all great personalities were there. And none of them could even attempt. They all offered their prayers somehow or other to pacify the Lord. But none of them had an attempt to go near to Lord Nrsimha and pacify him. Then all of them went and requested Mother Lakshmi that, Mother Lakshmi, you please go and you try to pacify the Lord. But even Mother Lakshmi could not dare to go near Lord Nrsimha. He was so ferocious. She said, even I have never seen this form of my husband. I have never seen this kind of ferocious form. Then finally, Brahma, he went to Prahlad and he said, actually, you are called Prahlad. The Lord appeared only for your pleasure. Prakashta Rupena Ahlad. One who is completely satisfied in the Supreme Lord. That is called Prahlad. So the Lord has appeared for you. Only you can actually pacify the Lord. So please, you go and just try to pacify the Lord. So then Prahlad Maharaj approaches the Lord, pays his obeisances to the Lord, and the Lord is completely in ecstasy the moment he sees Prahlad Maharaj approaching him and prostrating before him. Immediately the Lord benedicts him, touches his head. You all would have seen that beautiful picture, how the Lord benedicts, Lord Nrsimha benedicts Prahlad Maharaj. And then the Lord goes and sits down on the throne, and Prahlad Maharaj, by the touch of the Lord, becomes very ecstatic, and in his ecstasy he offers some very beautiful prayers. So just another 5-10 minutes we will take to understand some of the very beautiful prayers which Prahlad Maharaj offers to Lord Nrsimha Dev. So Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon Lord Nrsimha, and with full attention in complete trance, with a fixed mind, he begins to offer his prayers with faltering voice. Because when one is in ecstasy, one is not even able to speak properly. So in a very faltering voice, he started offering his prayers. So the very first prayer is very significant. He explains in that prayers about humility of a pure devotee of the Lord. A pure devotee like Prahlad, who is able to satisfy the Lord, it is not because of his material position, material ability, but it is because of the humble attitude the devotee attains, by which the Lord is attracted. In fact, that is exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says. If you want to be constantly in touch with the Lord by chanting His holy name, then you have to attain, you should try to be in a humble state of mind. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. So, only by glorifying the Lord, chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing the holy name of the Lord, especially in this age of Kali, one can be in constantly touch with the Lord. But if we want to chant constantly, then that is possible only in a humble state of mind. So in the very first prayer, Prahlad Maharaj offers his prayer saying that actually right in front of me there are greatest of the demigods. Lord Brahma is there, many other Shiva is there, many other great devatas are there. But still, if they could not satisfy with their prayers the Supreme Lord, how can I, born in the family of an Asura, how can I satisfy the Supreme Lord? You see? So, in the very beginning, he accepts his very humble position. So, he says, Shri Prahlad Uvacha Brahma Daya Suragana Munayatha Siddhaha. So, he is saying Brahma is there, Brahma Adayaha Suragana. Headed by Brahma, many other great demigods are present, great munis are present, sadhus are present, great siddhas are present. Satvaikatana gatayo vachasam pravahai. And they are all situated in the mode of goodness. And they have offered very, very beautiful prayers. Naradhitum puru gunai adhunapi pipru kim toshutu arhati same harir ugra jate hai. Whereas, if you see me, actually I am born in the family of Ugra Jate, Asura. So, if you are not satisfied by the words of these great personalities like Brahma and Shiva and Siddhas, then how can I satisfy my dear Lord? I am very insignificant, born in the family of Ugra Jate. So, I will just read the translation, very interesting. How is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of Asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods, headed by Brahma and all the saintly person, could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness. So all of them offered prayers, being in the mode of goodness, they could not satisfy the Lord. Then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. So this is very important for devotees to understand. The Lord is not pacified by any kind of material position. It's only because great devotee like Prahlad, they are very humble. They understand their insignificant position, and actually they are very great devotees. They are called Mahatmas, but they take themselves to be very humble, very insignificant. Just like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, at the end of every chapter, he is saying that I am lower than the worm in the stool. So this is the kind of position a devotee takes, and actually that is what attracts the Lord. And in the very next prayer, he illustrates this very important point. He says, one may possess some great wealth, one may be from aristocratic family, one may have great beauty, one may perform some great austerities, materially one may be very educated, in senses one may be very expert, one may have a great influence in the world, one may have great physical strength, one may have great intelligence and he may work with diligence, one may have mystic powers. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, but I think all these cannot satisfy the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord can only be satisfied by one qualification, and that is devotional service. Devotional service. And he says, the greatest example of this is Tutosha Bhagavan Gajayutha Paya, that you are completely satisfied by an insignificant elephant. Where is the question of being a Brahmana born in aristocratic family with great intelligence? An elephant is born in the mode of lower gunas, being born as an animal. But just because in humility Gajendra offered you great prayers, the Lord was completely satisfied. So this is how the Lord can be satisfied, not by our material qualifications, material positions. The Lord is not satisfied by all those things. Next, Prahlad Maharaj gives a very wonderful understanding. He compares. He says that, let us say there is a great Brahmana who has got 12 qualifications of a Brahmana. We all know that Brahmana has a lot of qualifications. Samadamaha, Titiksha, all these are great qualifications. Brahmana has different kinds of work, Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Pratigraha. So, Brahmana is qualified with lot of qualities, specifically these 12 qualities. And let us say, such a Brahmana, he may be qualified with all this quality, but if somehow or other he is not a devotee of the Lord, then he says, he is lower than a dog eater. But on the other side, let us say, somebody is born in the family of a Chandala. Chandala means dog eaters. But somehow or other, even though born in the family of a Chandala, if he has offered his mind, if he has offered his words, his activities, his wealth, his very life to the Supreme Lord, then such a personality, such a devotee of the Lord is actually higher than this Brahmana. Because this devotee, he can purify not only himself, he can purify his whole Chandala family. You see? Whereas the Brahmana, who is in such a higher position, prestigious position, forget about his family, forget about his ancestors, he cannot even purify himself. So, Prahlad Maharaj, actually we can see this is the qualification. Even though he is born in a family of Asura, but because he has dedicated his mind, his words, his activities, everything in the service of the Lord, actually he is greater than all the Brahmanas. He is topmost of the devotees. So this is another beautiful prayer which Prahlad Maharaj offers. Then he says that actually one should not be thinking that the Lord requires my seva. The Lord requires my prayers to be offered to Him. Isn't it? Because now we are seeing Prahlad Maharaj has offered his prayer, and Prahlad Maharaj is saying the Lord is satisfied with prayers offered with mind. One who has dedicated his mind, his activities, everything in the service of the Lord. But the devotee should not think that the Lord is dependent upon all these things. The Lord is not dependent on any of those things. The Lord is self-satisfied. Actually, when a devotee is offering prayers to the Lord, it is for the benefit of the devotee. And the example Prahlad Maharaj is giving is, it is just like by decorating our face, reflection in the mirror automatically becomes decorated. One does not have to decorate it separately. Similarly, by offering our sevas in the forms of prayers, in the forms of services we are rendering, just like today is Narasimha Jayanti, all of us are rendering service to the Lord. It is an opportunity given by the Lord so that we can engage our senses, we can engage everything in the service of the Lord, and we will become purified. It's not that the Lord is dependent on our service. So this has to be understood very clearly. Just like when we decorate our face, the reflection becomes decorated. Similarly, by serving the Lord, actually we benefit ourselves. We will become purified. So Prahlad Maharaj is very important principles he is offering when he is offering his prayers to the Lord. Then he is saying that actually a devotee should try to offer his services to the best of his capacity. He should not be thinking, I require some perfection to serve the Lord. No. Whatever kind of ability we are born with that ability, to the best of our ability, if we serve the Lord, actually the Supreme Lord is satisfied. Otherwise, sometimes the devotee may think, I want to read all the Vedic literature, I want to become very expert in chanting the mantras of the Vedas. No, none of these things are actually qualifications required to be acquired by devotees. Actually, whatever a devotee requires for the mission of the Lord will provide. The devotee does not do some extra endeavor in order to obtain these different kinds of abilities. Rather, he utilizes all his abilities to serve the Lord. Already ready? Yes, Chika. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my dear Lord, kindly excuse me. I am going to offer you prayers up to the extent my intelligence permits. By your blessing, whatever my intelligence permits, I am going to offer my prayers to you. Then Prahlad Maharaj is saying that all these great personalities like Brahma, Shiva, Mother Lakshmi, all these great demigods who are present there, they've all become fearful of your, the ferocious form in which you have appeared. The great anger which you have displayed now, all of them have become very, very fearful. But Prahlad Maharaj is saying, somehow, I am not fearful. So this is very important. Great devatas like Brahma, even they are fearful to approach Lord Narasimha. Forget about Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was completely frightened seeing the Lord. He was, of course, a asuric person, demoniac person. But even great demigods, even they were afraid, they were fearful. But how come Prahlad Maharaj is not fearful? He has approached the Lord, he is putting a garland to the Lord. After when Hiranyakashipu was killed by the Lord, Prahlad went and garlanded the Lord. Went and paid his obeisances to the Lord. He is offering his beautiful prayers to the Lord. How come he is not afraid? So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, this is because I have taken complete shelter of yours. Prabhupada in the purport gives a very beautiful example. He says that actually the Supreme Lord appeared as half lion, half man in this form. And the Lord appeared in a very ferocious form. Not only that, the nails of the Lord were very, very fearful. And the Lord, he is in anger at that time. His eyes are molten red. Teeth are, grinning like anything. You can imagine a lion when he is roaring. All the animals in the jungle will shudder. But then, just try to understand, when the lion is roaring, the cubs of the lion are not afraid. You see? All other animals, it sends a signal of shattering of the heart of other animals. But the cubs of the lion, they are not afraid. Why? Because they are under the shelter of the lion. Prabhupada gives another very wonderful example. Prabhupada says, in the ocean, when there are big waves, huge waves, big houses can get carried away. Even big animals like elephant, they can get carried away by the waves. The waves of the ocean is so great. But small fishes, they can go against the current of the ocean. They can swim against the current of the ocean. Isn't it wonderful? Big elephants are carried away, but small fishes, they can go against the wave because they have taken shelter of the ocean. So great devotee of the Lord, like Prahlad, he has nothing to fear. The Lord is fear personified even for the fear. But for the devotee, he is not fearful. But the devotee is afraid of one thing. Prahlad Maharaj further says, we'll wind off because it's already time. Some other time we will take to see these beautiful prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord, I am only fearful of one thing. I am not fearful of your mane. I am not fearful of your roar or the intestine which you have picked up, your ferocious nail, your ferocious form, your anger. I am not fearful of any of these things. I am fearful of material existence. Devotee is fearful of forgetting the Lord. He has no other fear. That's the only fear a devotee has. My dear Lord, never put me in a condition where I will be able to forget you. Let me be in the hell or heaven, does not matter. Provided I am given an opportunity that somehow I will be able to remember you. And then further Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord, I have no kind of lamentation. I am completely jubilant because my mind is completely absorbed in your ecstasy. Mahamagna chittaha. In glorifying you, my mind is always absorbed. But still, I have one lamentation. Still I lament. What do I lament? I am lamenting about materialistic people who are averse to you, who are not able to get this ananda, the supreme ananda, the bliss which is derived in serving you. I am only thinking about them. So my dear Lord, I do not want any kind of material things. The Lord was so satisfied with the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. He wanted to benedict him. Take anything from me. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my dear Lord, do you think I am some businessman? I offered you prayer so that in return I will get something. I am not a vanik. I am not a baniya. That's something I want in return from this. No. But still the Lord was insistent, no, you take something. Then Prahlad Maharaj asked, my dear Lord, only give me the benediction that even if life after life I am born, let me be born in the house of a great devotee. Let that benediction be there. And if you want me to take something, I am just asking you, my dear Lord, I am only worried about my father. He was so inimical to you. What is going to be his destination? So the Lord said, do not worry, Prahlad. Do not worry about your father. Even your forefathers and the coming generation, totally 14 generations are liberated because of your being born in the family of Hiranyakashipu. So that is already benediction, is already there. So these are the great qualities of Prahlad Maharaj, the great prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, and the affection of Lord Narasimha, for which the Lord appeared specifically for giving darshan to Prahlad Maharaj, who was very eager for the Lord. The Lord personally appeared on this day, and just like the Lord protected Prahlad Maharaj, we can always be under the protection of Lord Narasimha